afternoon. Good afternoon. It's good to be in the House of Labor. Thank you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please have a seat. Please have a seat. Frank, thank you for that. I've known Frank a long time. And you are a dear friend, and you have a heart of gold, and you know how to fight like the best of them. And I've seen you fight for your members at every level in a way that you know this is all about family and caring for each other, knowing what people are, who they are, and what they're doing for so many people that you may never know in terms of your personal life, but you care about as leaders in the community. So frankly, Lima, thank you for all that you are. Thank you. Ed Kelly, it's good to see you. Thank you always. I got to know Ed through Marty Walsh. Marty, and Ed, you've been an extraordinary international leader for this most august union. And you and I have had many conversations with the president while you've been on the road, on the phone, and you understand what's at stake in terms of the future of our country when it comes to uplifting the working men and women of America, and in particular our firefighters. So thank you for your leadership and all that you do. And then a shout out to Brian Rice, the head of California Firefighters, who I've worked with forever. Thank you so much, Brian. So to all the women and men who are here today, I want to thank you for everything that you are and everything that you do. You know, we're at an interesting time in the history of our country and our world. And I'll be very candid. I think we've gotten to this place where, can I use this? We've gotten to this place that this is not on, so I will not use it, there it is, where there's a certain perversion that I think has started to take place a bit, where some people would suggest that the measure of the strength of a leader is based on who you beat down, instead of what I think we all know, the measure of that strength being based on who you lift up. The idea that it is a sign of weakness to have some level of empathy when the men and women who are here, you live a life that is about having a profound level of concern and care about the well-being or the suffering of other people, and then you have taken on a life commitment to actually do something about that. Yours is not just a profession, it is a calling. You each take an oath to save lives, to empower people, to know that there are people who care about them. Your work is on behalf of some people that will never know your name. But you have answered a calling to serve. You have answered a calling to protect people in their most dire moments of need. You are the people, yes, I went to Paradise, Frank, the Camp Fire, the Creek Fire in California while the wood was still smoldering. I met and talked with firefighters who were putting out fires while their own homes were burning. That's the character and nature of who you are. My brother-in-law just retired as a firefighter last year in California. You are individuals who will work long shifts, away from your family, unpredictable hours, will work around the clock in some of the most dangerous conditions anyone could ever work. And your work is the kind of work that also not only exposes you to danger in terms of what you run into when other people would run out, but the kind of health risks that you are exposed to, because we've still not done enough as a nation to give you the equipment and the resources you need. Brian and Frank can tell you, I attended every firefighter memorial in the state of California when I was Attorney General. I spoke at those memorials. I met with the families who grieved a firefighter that they lost, most often because of some form of cancer. And I would ask, what is going on? I'd ask my team, and I'd ask, like, what is happening here? And a big part of it was, you don't have the equipment you need. A big part of it is issues like PFAS. And what we need to do around upgrading your equipment, foam, the kinds of toxic materials that you work with that you shouldn't have to work with every day. So I know who you are as individuals and as a union. We've been in the fight together, Frank, yes, because when I wrote that piece of, I was Attorney General, so I would write basically the ballots. And, people wanted to kick me out of office because they said you're too pro-union the way you supported the firefighters. But it was about pensions. It was about pensions. It was a pension fight. Understanding people deserve, who live a kind of life that you live, to retire with dignity and all that you need to be able to take care of your family. So when I think about what this union represents, the members that you represent, I thank you. Because there could be no more noble work that one could take on than to be prepared to make the kind of sacrifices that I know you knowingly make to serve communities. And that's why President Joe Biden and I understand what you do to protect and have dedicated our administration to make sure we protect and honor you. That is why we have done the work that has been about working with the leadership of this incredible union to do what we need to do in terms of getting now $720 million for SAFER and AFG grants and funds, and what we are going to do in just announcing to get another $50 million in those funds, which we have required in our budget that Congress deliver to you to give you the resources you need. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for being in D.C. to remind those folks on the Hill about what you do. The other work that we are doing is to make sure that you have the resources through your departments to be able to hire more firefighters. Because I know that one of the best ways we're going to keep our firefighters safe is to have more firefighters, to be able to work on the job with you, to be able to do the work that is about putting the resources into what the communities need. I am a native Californian. We fight on wildfires all the time. We've talked about how when I was in the Senate, we had to help people understand. And this is, I say this in admiration and respect to anybody who's not from California. But here's the thing. When I got to Washington, D.C. in the United States Senate, I realized that FEMA was doing a lot of its funding around natural disasters based on hurricanes and floods, but not based on wildfires. And thinking about what will be the FEMA response, what will be the resources and the emergency resources that go into wildfires, knowing especially with the climate crisis, we are seeing more of those every day. Who's on the front lines of wildfires? It's all of you. And so putting the resources into that. This is the kind of work that our administration has done and will continue to do. You all, many of you have known Joe Biden a long time, and many of you have known me a long time. This is personal to us. We admire and respect and honor the work that you all do. And we understand that the work you do is not only about being leaders in protecting communities, you also, because I know who you are in your personal lives, are also community leaders. You're coaches. You're active in your kids' schools. I know who you are. You're the best of what we can be as a country. And so I thank you for all of that, and please enjoy your time in D.C. Take care.